Bitch, I'm that damn good. Smoking on some good, some rosy on the wood. Standing on the shit so you can get it understood. It's pedigree in me because I'm that damn good. Bitch, I'm that damn good. Bitch, I'm that damn good.
Smoking on some good, something rosy on the wood. And bitch, I got the belt so you just get it understood. It's pedigree in me because I'm that damn good. Bitch, I'm that damn good.
Little people, big people, all people. My bad, RJ. I had to steal your intro, bro. I'm still sick, so I can't really give you like the yo. Almost felt like I gotta throw up. Listen. Listen, we have our first official interview on the Common Sense Ain't Common podcast. Of course, I am your host, the illustrious DAME.DONN. Yes, I am the illustrious DAME.DONN. That is something that I came up with on the Quick 10. Firstly, I just want to say I really enjoyed doing RJ's podcast, having RJ on my podcast, and of course being on his podcast. This interview was actually supposed to drop last week, but I actually got sick the day we recorded this. I felt myself getting sick that day. And like I've just pretty much been down and out ever since then. I honestly do not feel better. But my subscribers on my channel is going up and there's like zero activity. So I had to get something out for y'all. I'm not even in studio, but hopefully I will be back in the studio soon. There's a lot of things we need to cover. Kyle Rittenhouse, the baby, Travis Scott update. So there's a lot of good content coming. But I'm just trying to feel better, and I honestly don't. I think I might need to go get a COVID test, but I'm honestly scared. I'm terrified. But nonetheless, here is the interview with RJ, the host of Buffed Up Sports. I hope you all enjoy it. Subscribe, like, do all that good stuff for me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first official interview here. Please welcome the host of the Buffed Up podcast, RJ, ladies and gentlemen.
What up, what up, what up? Little people, big people, all people.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I love that, yeah. So firstly, bro, just let everybody know what your podcast is, what it's about, what made you start doing podcasts, and just let the people know, bro.
Most definitely. So my podcast is titled Buffed Up Sports. You can find that on all major podcasting platforms. It's about a little over a year old. My podcast is, like I said, Buffed Up Sports. So it's a sports podcast. I try to focus on Detroit sports, but from time to time, I talk about things outside the region. Started the podcast because I simply love talking sports. So I figured, why not start a podcast about it so people can hear my takes and they can agree or disagree.
That's a good point. You was actually kind of, I don't want to say, well, actually, yeah, I can say you was actually kind of instrumental in helping me get the podcast started, especially like you was really one of the main ones on my neck, bro. Like, all right, bro, when is the podcast coming, bro? I'm like, I'm waiting on the logo. I'm waiting on the logo. You like, all right, bro, we gonna wait on the logo. 2 weeks later, what's going on, bro? A month later, what's going on, bro? And even still to this day, he'll hit me on a Monday like, yo, what time you dropping, bro? Like, what's going on, bro? Why you ain't dropping? Like, RJ is legit almost my manager and don't even know he's my manager. Anything that hits the YouTube channel does not touch the channel without his clearance. It doesn't touch the channel without your clearance. I think the only thing I've uploaded without your like what you think was the quick 10 intro, and that was just because you didn't you didn't reply right away or something like that. But yeah, I don't know what happened to that. But other than that, this is legitimately my manager right here. This is legitimately an instrumental piece in the Common Sense Ain't Common podcast. So production, give him some round of applause. Everybody clap for him. I need to clap for this, man, because I don't know if I would be here, honestly.
Oh, I appreciate that. That makes me feel good.
This man, bro. All right, bro. So I remember we was talking about, I don't know if it was on the podcast, off the podcast. I don't even remember when we was talking about this, but I remember us talking about how we met, bro. We didn't really know how we met.
Yeah.
We both know it was kind of like it's on Twitter. We do know it was on Twitter for sure, but we didn't know like how it actually met. And then I think I wrote you and I was like, I was like, it had to be on Twitter somehow, bro. And you like, bro, it had to be something about wrestling. And I'm like, bro, it had to be. Like, there's no. So I did some digging before I started the podcast, bro. And I found where we started talking, bro. And this is why I want to tell people social media is so important. I'm on the screen. RJ wrote me just randomly, didn't know who he was. And I know I don't know you, bro, because of how I responded. It say, what's up? I finally made an Instagram and was wondering, do you want to do a follow for follow? If not, cool, but if so, great. A shout out would be awesome too. But again, if that's getting greedy, no worries. My Instagram is RJ_Hut36. And I wrote you back and I was like, sure, bro. That's how I know I didn't know you. Like, sure, bro. I don't talk like that, bro. Unless like I don't know you. So I'm like, sure, bro. And I gave you my Instagram. And then you was like, thank you so much. And I was like, for sure. Then I'm like, all right, so like what happened from after then, that? Bro? Yeah, after that. So then I'm scrolling through the Instagram messages. And first of all, I didn't realize how much we talked, bro. I was scrolling for a minute, bro.
Oh, yeah.
And I was only like at like a month ago, bro. So I'm literally sitting here like this trying to get your fucking, your messages. All right, so look, I posted Mandy Rose, bro. Or I posted wrestling and you replied to the story. And you said, man's be going stupid in the ring. I'm trying to tell everybody WWE starting to get a little hype to it again. And I said, shit lit, bro. Then a couple weeks later, you wrote me on the story and you said, that's my baby, 1 of 4. Do you know who you was talking about?
If I said 1 of 4, I'm gonna have to go with Sasha, Bianca Belair, Zelina Vega, and if I said 1 of 4,
who it was. You know who it was.
It won't be. Oh, it was Mandy.
It was Mandy. It was Mandy, bro. And you wrote me and you said that's my baby, 1 of them. And I said, no, bro, that's all me.
Yeah.
She replying to my stories.
Once I had a thing for Mandy, but then once I seen you, I was like, you know what? I'll let you have Mandy. I was like, just let me keep Bianca or Zelina or one of them.
Hey, bro,
that's what it was.
I said, no, she just supposed to be on her story, and I sent you the video. You said, oh, yeah, that's all you. You go.
Yo, I figured so I was like,
I finally found how we met, bro. I'm like, bro, that is why I tell everybody social media is so important, bro, because now we damn near friends off of you telling me to follow you on Instagram, bro. Like, social media is vital, especially if you got a business, a podcast, whatever. Like, you need to be on social media, especially Twitter.
I tell people Twitter's where it's at.
Man. So let's talk a little bit about sports. I don't really know anything about sports, but we can talk a little bit about a little bit about them, bro. So what's your favorite like sports team that's not from Detroit, bro?
Oh, see, you ain't have to put that last part on it.
That's not from Detroit, bro.
That's not from Detroit. Okay. All right. That's not from Detroit. My favorite team would have to be. I'm a Golden State Warriors fan, kinda.
Cause Stephen Curry.
Yeah, Curry. Curry's my favorite player.
He's my I'm not watching player. Sports. I'm not lying, y'all. I swear to God, I'm not lying.
Oh no, you good. I already know how you rock with sports, man. I'm already knowing. So yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Football? I'm a Tigers fan. Oh, football. Let's go. Shoot. The Rams, maybe. LA Rams.
So like what is your connection with sports, bro? Like how long do you remember being in sports? Was this something like that's just kind of been as long as you remember, like me with wrestling? Like what was it for you that got you involved with sports? Just kind of as long as you remember?
Pretty much because the first sport I fell in love with was basketball. And a big part of that was that when I was younger, the Detroit Pistons was actually good at the time. Like they was coming off a championship. They was in the playoffs every year. So my whole family was big fans. And on top of that, my cousin had season tickets. So we was at the games a lot. So I've been a Pistons fan as long as I can remember. And then football and baseball, I kind of fell in love with around the same time. That was probably like in right before I got to middle school. Kids at school will watch it.
Yeah, because I pretty much know, like, when I see the Pistons logo, bro, I almost think of you instantly now, bro. Like, I seen, like,
Oh yeah, you're not the only one that say that.
You had like a Pistons like coffee mug or something you posted on your
I got
story.
everything
Like,
Pistons.
I'm like, bro, when I see the logo, like you the first, and when I see it on Twitter, it's usually because you shared it. Like, it's not just a coincidence. Like, every time I see this Detroit Piston logo, when I see the blue and red, I know RJ is not far behind. Like, I know
Almost definitely.
It's something that you're there to wave the flag.
Like, everything Pistons related, like, I got it. Like, all types of stuff.
Shirts, covers, everything.
Shirts, coats. My bed is a Piston
I think you
comforter.
got a hat. I think you got a
tons
hat.
of hats.
Yeah.
My car got Piston stickers on it. I got a Pistons license plate. Like, everything Pistons. Everybody know it's me.
So you would say that you are like the ultimate Detroit supporter? Like, you really support Detroit, or do you just support Detroit's sports?
Detroit sports.
Okay.
Because truth be told, I don't actually live in Detroit. I'm like a good 30, 40 minutes away.
Okay.
So, like, I don't necessarily claim Detroit. It's just they got the closest sports teams to the area. So it's like I rock with them.
Facts. He out the way a little in a safer area.
Yeah, I'm in the suburbs. I'm in the burbs with it. I'm in the burbs with it.
That's where to be. That's the place to be. I grew up in the suburbs too. I'm a suburban kid too. And I think that's why I'm just so white black, just like I am now. Like,
I will say this much: Detroit gets a bad rep. I promise you, as someone who goes to the city all the time, it's not as bad as y'all be seeing on the news. Like, I promise you, like, every city got their bad part, and Detroit is no different. But I promise you, it's not as bad as what the media makes it up to be. Like, it's really not.
Yeah, I'm a little scared to go to Detroit. I ain't gonna lie.
No, like, I'll go there comfortably. I'll be fine. And you talking to someone who go down there without a piece on them, like, I'll really be fine.
Oh, my man's talking about a piece. The piece is made of steel.
Like, I don't even need it. Like, you carry if you want to, but like, I ain't never carried nothing, and I'll be all right. So
I ain't got one, but I just feel like my anger's not, it's not there. It's not. I feel like I'm not wrapped as tight as maybe somebody with a gun should be. So I'm not gonna get one, bro. Like,
self-awareness is key.
Yeah, bro. I feel like, I might have a bad day, and you might, it wouldn't be anything what's the word I'm looking for? Like, unprovoked. It would be in retaliation, but I still feel like I just don't need one.
Nah, we don't want them problems.
I don't need it. I gotta get to the WWE. I ain't got time to be going to jail and having the Booker T story and all that.
Nah, we don't want MVP.
MVP. Speaking of Booker T and MVP, let's jump into some wrestling. Let's talk about some wrestling. So, when do you remember being a wrestling fan? Like, what was like your earliest memories of wrestling? Like, do you remember when you got into wrestling?
A little bit. So, like, for those who don't know, I'm a little younger. I'm only 19. So, like, my answer might make some people mad. That was one of my questions, because I didn't know how old you was. Yeah, I turned 20 in a few months, but I started watching wrestling. I was like 5, 6. I would go, but I wasn't watching it on the regular yet. Only time I watched it was when I would go to my cousin's house and they would be watching it. So they'll be watching Friday Night SmackDown or whatnot. And then it turned into, I would watch SmackDown here and there, probably like every other week, because Raw being on Mondays, coming on when I'm going to bed, I never watched Raw as a kid. It was always SmackDown because I ain't have school the next day.
Yeah.
So I would watch SmackDown a lot.
That is true. Because my bedtime was like 8 for the longest time, bro. I think we talked about that before too.
Yep. So I would miss Raw. So I started watching weekly, like around the time Randy Orton went bald, like when he was the top villain of the company. Bald Randy Orton.
09.
Yeah. That's about when I started watching heavily.
09 Orton when RKO Stephanie and kissed her in front of Triple
Yeah,
H and
I remember all
everything.
that now.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember you was also telling me like that was one of the storylines that you feel like was like real to this day. Like you
almost definitely.
Like you almost still feel like Randy Orton is like not all the way there mentally to this day.
Like this man was banging on the mat, going. He had spit flying out his mouth. Like some really was not right there. I don't know what was going on in his life at that moment, but something was not okay. I promise you.
I think he was
that wasn't
going
acting.
through like a. I think he was actually going through like a real life divorce at the time.
That's probably what it was.
I was gonna say like maybe he was taking his aggression out on the ring because I do remember him going through like a divorce, and Randy Orton been suspended like 3 times. So I mean he's had a history of being Randy Orton for sure. Who would you say is your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
Okay. Every time I get this list, I give a different answer. So I'm not gonna go in order.
I got my list set.
Like my top 3 is always set. It's Rock, Cena, Taker. My top 3 is always set. It's them last 2 that change on the fly. So like some days I feel like Shawn Michaels being in there. Some days I feel like Triple H should be in there. Some days I'm with Edge or Jeff Hardy. Like, I don't know. It's just them last 2 is hard. But if most of the time it's between Shawn Michaels and Triple H for them last 2 spots. So I'm gonna go with them.
See, I feel like when it comes down to like top 5s and things of that nature, like I don't believe in having like your top 5 can be whatever you want it to be. But I feel like me personally, my top 5, I like to kind of put the underdogs in the top 5, people that's not really like, I feel like you almost can't really put Rock in a top 5 or Undertaker in a top 5 or even Triple H in the top 5 or Brock Lesnar. Like I feel like you can't put like, well, I'm not saying you can't, but I wouldn't put like these big names in the top 5 because I feel like they almost bigger than the top 5 itself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I kind of
bigger than the top 5.
I see what you're saying. You had me kind of stuck for a minute, but then once you wrapped it up, I'm like, okay, I see where you coming from. Cause you just out the gate was like, I don't think you could put them in your top 5. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, hold on, don't disrespect.
I can do whatever I want to do. What you talking about? Out of the 3 favorite wrestlers you just gave me, what's your favorite moment that one of those wrestlers has given you? Or all 3, or 2, or it don't matter.
Okay, John Cena's the easiest because I've seen John Cena and I've seen him live like 2-3 times. And from the time I seen him for the first time when I was like, I'm gonna go 9. No, I was probably like 8. Probably 8 years old, first time I seen John Cena. I went crazy then. I just seen John Cena just last summer. When WWE returned to live crowds. Yeah, so again, I'm 19 now. I still had that same reaction when Cena came out. When them horns went off, I still had the same reaction that I did when I was 8.
Hey, but it's something about like that theme music, especially when you there, like when you hear somebody theme music for the first time that you haven't heard in a really long time. Like, bro, like even being at SummerSlam and Brock Lesnar came back, bro. I was literally walking out of the arena because, mind you, it was like 56,000 people there. I'm not getting stuck in all these people. I'm on the floor, so I'm already have to wait for all these people to get out and crowd out. Bro, I'm literally walking up the stairs to get out the arena, and Brock Lesnar music hit, and I literally froze, and I'm like, what? And I ran so fast. Bro, I dropped my Gucci glasses, bro. And then I'm standing there, bro. I almost left them. I was standing there like, should I get the glasses? Should I go record Brock? I'm looking up at the monitor like, okay, he's not at the ring yet. I can go get the glasses. Like, bro, it was really a real life decision. Like, should I go get these glasses that was $600, or should I go record Brock Lesnar? And it was a real life decision that I had to make.
No, that's valid.
It was crazy.
That was a big moment.
bro, like when you hear that music of somebody that comes back for the first time in a long time, like I feel like that feeling is like it's an indescribable feeling, especially as somebody that's like a long time fan. Or so like I'm sure you had that same reaction when Cena returned at Money in the Bank when you first heard that music
I got the video of me going crazy.
I remember it. I remember it.
Yeah.
Like that was very much me when Edge returned after Royal Rumble. That's very much me when the Iconics come back because they coming back when they deal is over in TNA. They'll be
Oh yeah,
back
most definitely. Most definitely.
They'll be back in 3 years. Speaking of the definitely. Speaking of the Iconics coming back, of all the releases taking place lately, WWE has released a slew of talent, emphasis on talent. Out of all the releases, who do you think is like the biggest fuck up on WWE's part? Like, who is the biggest, like, why would you let them go? You could have did so much more.
Okay. So my original answer would be Zelina Vega.
Okay.
But then they came back and corrected that. So I was like, all right. So shout out to our queen.
Shout out to the queen. I was gonna say, wait a minute.
I know what you was about to say.
Shout out to the queen.
I knew you was about to pull that queen out.
I gotta watch what I say.
Zelina, I was upset. I was like really devastated when they dropped her, but they fixed it, so I'm good now.
Much like
so my next
Nia
answer,
Jax.
No, I wouldn't be. It wouldn't. My main answer would be Keith Lee. That's the one I was like, I know he didn't have the hype to him yet, but I was like really curious to see what they was gonna do with him because of the fact, like when he debuted, he beat Randy Orton. So I'm like, all right.
I feel like
this dude the next big thing, and it didn't work out.
I feel like the key for Lee was they started changing stuff about Lee immediately. So I knew it wasn't gonna work. Like as a longtime fan, you can't hear me? You can't hear me?
Hold up. I think we back. I miss like everything.
What's the last thing you heard I said?
No, my phone was sitting right next to me and it connected to my AirPods. So I missed like everything you just said the last minute or so.
Oh my God. I don't even remember what I just said. What's the last thing you heard I said?
I had just talked about Keith Lee. How I said he was the one that shocked me the most. And then after that, I ain't hear nothing.
All right. So I feel like what I was saying was I feel like with Lee, it's a little different because it was so like start, stop. Like then he got really sick and had COVID. And I also feel like I almost feel like Keith Lee was doomed from his debut because they started changing him immediately. The second he got there, they changed his gear, they changed his song. Like Vince didn't like who Keith Lee was. Like, and it was obvious because he changed everything about who Keith Lee was once he had Keith Lee under his full control, much like Karrion Kross. And he was just kind of ass after splitting him from Scarlett.
Yeah, I didn't care for him.
Yeah, he was kind of.
I didn't care.
Yeah. I feel like Bray Wyatt is probably their biggest miss, though. The Fiend, I feel like that was probably their biggest miss that they released, and of course the Iconics. But out of all the releases, which release do you think will be like it'll almost be better for them, and then once they come back, they'll be better? Because almost half of them are gonna come back. That's almost guaranteed. Half of them are gonna be back.
It's so many people that like the pop they would get when they come back, it would be off the chain.
Yeah.
But the one I'll probably go crazy. I don't think Daniel Bryan's coming back. So I'm not gonna say him.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
It's gonna be like a Hall of Fame type deal. He ain't getting back in the ring.
He's not coming back to wrestle a full-time schedule. But Bryan coming back, Matt coming back. Everybody that's in AEW now, when the internet think they're not coming back, they are coming back. Matt Hardy wants to go into the WWE Hall of Fame. He's always said he's ended his career in WWE until AEW became a thing. So I don't know.
If Matt don't come back by the time Jeff Hardy contract over, he ain't coming back.
No, because I think Jeff gonna go to AEW for maybe a
That's what
year
they
or
gonna
two.
link back up. Now that
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
it's
yeah.
going, they gonna link back up somehow.
Jeff is going to AEW at some point, but once they're done in AEW, they're going back to WWE. Think of it in like a 5-year plan. And that's how you got to think of it with wrestling too, because none of it lasts forever. You know what I'm saying? Like even with
Yeah.
like storylines and stuff like that, it's always gonna end eventually. So I feel like Naya's gonna get a big pop when she come back.
Nope.
I
Nope. April Fools.
I love Naya. I feel like I'm like the only one that likes Naya,
You are.
bro. This is
You are.
crazy, bro. It's crazy, but I do feel like people like the Revival are never coming back. I feel like people like I don't know, Matt Hardy might not be coming back at this point.
They getting up there in age too.
Yeah,
They don't
they are.
seem like it, but they getting up there. That's why I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Man, I'm not even sure.
If I had to pick, if
Go
CM
ahead.
Punk was to come back,
Ugh.
that would be the one for me.
Ugh. I would care more about AJ coming back than CM Punk. Bring me his wife.
13-year-old RJ would be, he'd be real excited if AJ came
But bro, I used to love AJ when she used to skip around. Bro, I remember she cut a promo in the ring, bro. And I made a sign, bro, and held it up, bro. And you could see my sign her whole promo, bro. Like that made my life. It was in the background the whole time, bro. Like people don't understand about those moments, bro. Like
she ran Raw for a minute. It was like that summer of what, 2013? From when she was messing with Daniel Bryan to John Cena to Kane.
Yeah, she did.
They had her dating
She
Kane.
did. That was like 2013. Yeah, 12, 13. Because you remember she was general manager. And then she was the longest reigning champion of 295 days. Then when she left, they had Nikki Bella break her streak immediately after she left. Immediately after.
Mm-hmm.
But AJ was a good force. AJ was a good wrestler. I feel like AJ don't get the credit she deserves for like the women's evolution and not wanting to be on Total Divas and like being more of like a wrestler and not a diva. Because really it was AJ that kind of started that, and then she brought in Paige and it was kind of them together. I feel like the Bellas kind of get all the credit for the Divas evolution and things like that. But it was definitely like people like AJ, Emma, Paige, and then the Bellas just kind of came along at the tail end.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bellas was just like, it was a mixture of people who actually wrestled, quote unquote, but
Bellas they didn't know how to wrestle until they got with Bryan and Cena.
That's what I'm saying. So like they could kind of wrestle, quotations, and then they had the eye candy. So that's what kept them on the screen.
Definitely, because they just became like the valet for the host of Raw for a minute. They wasn't even wrestling; like they was just a valet. I remember that for a while. But do you got anything you want to plug? Your social sites, your podcast. Tell the people where they can find it. Your social medias, all that.
Okay. So social medias first. My Twitter and Instagram names are both the same. You can follow me at RJ_Hunt36. Again, that's for Twitter and Instagram. And then my podcast, Buffed Up Sports, available on all major podcasting platforms. So whatever you listen to your podcast on, that's where you can find Buffed Up Sports. And that's pretty much all the plugging for myself I have to do.
No, I'll plug the TikTok, bro, with the dancing videos.
Skip TikTok. I'm gonna tell. No, we got time for this. I'm gonna say why I skip. No, let's talk about TikTok.
I forgot.
They shadow banned me, and I to this day don't know why. In fact, I had a video hit 3 million views. So I'm thinking I finally made it. But then my videos, the John Cena one.
Yeah.
I'm up there thinking I finally made it. And I didn't have a video like get near as many video or views again. So I was like, yo, what's going on? I look at my stats. They took me off the For You page, so only people that follow me can see my videos.
Oh, how do you even see that?
It's like a way you could go in the settings and check your stats to each video. So once I seen that, I kind of gave up on TikTok. So we had a good run, but I ain't made a TikTok in 2 months now.
I feel like TikTokers don't get enough credit though either. Like, cause I feel like those dances and stuff, like it's really difficult. Like, and when I first started, I thought it was a video of a tutorial, like, and it's showing everybody how to do it. But you literally have to just find a video that you can learn from and watch it 1,000 times until you learn it. Like,
that's why I try not to do the
way. He said,
I ain't messing with the dances. I'll shoot. If it was dancing, I was freestyling. That was something you see me make up right then and there.
Or the love don't cost a thing.
Oh no, you know. Everybody that know me though, that's my dance. That's my go-to right here.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that in the podcast.
Circuit blacking the blocks out. Now open up the garage and
so y'all can see this man doing the love no cost.
I'm gonna tell you, true story. My senior year of high school, me and one of my boys was like, we gonna get the whole school to do this. So like every event we would do it. So we was doing it at pep rallies. And that's when people really caught on to it. But then I remember it was like homecoming, I think senior year. We did it at the dance and like everybody there actually started doing it. It was the funniest thing.
So you was very much a class clown, you would say. Well, I've seen your videos.
Most definitely.
Yeah. Same.
I was a good one though.
I wasn't a good one, but I was a class clown. I was a class clown. You know that to tell the teacher, oh, I'm gonna call your parent. Oh, I'll dial the number for you. You know, I was one of those.
Oh yeah, you was that one. Dude.
I was one of those. I'll dial the number for you when you write me up. Oh, make sure you spell my name right. I was definitely like one of those.
Definitely. I was the type. My teachers loved me. They knew I was a clown, but they at least loved it.
Same. I had a couple teachers that was like that. Like, why don't you just, not do this? But I'm like, I just have to be me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't let me not be me. Let me be me.
I mean, that's what they teach you. Be yourself. So I'm like, hey, I'm doing it.
That's all I'm saying, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. But thank you so much for joining us on the Common Sense and Common podcast, bro. I really enjoy having you on. Thank you for having me on. And we definitely got to do a part 2 on both sides.
Oh, most definitely. That's bound to happen. But thank you for having me on. I was glad to be a part of your show today.
For sure, bro. For sure, bro. Good talking to you.